welcome to the Shelly Studio. Today I'm working on my 100 days of color and we are in the brown. Yep, it's time for brown. How's everyone doing today? I hope you're doing well. My 100 days of color are of course part of the 100 day project and I'm getting close to the end now. So I have one more color after this one. And you can probably guess what it is, since this one's brown. I did take some liberties. I'm adding a little bit of copper, and I think I add some gold in there. But it kind of looks the same as, I don't know if that's raw umber, what color that is, or raw sienna maybe, or burnt sienna. I don't know. I can never remember which is which. But I am using the book, The Secret Lives of Color, as my inspiration, and in here it tells about a little bit of history about the different colors. And in the brown chapter, the colors are khaki, buff, fallow, russet, sepia, umber, mummy, and taupe. And I will have a list of the colors I used in the description box below in case you're interested in the exact colors I used. But I have raw sienna, burnt sienna, raw umber, burnt umber. And I do have one that says khaki. I have one that's listed as, I think I have titanium buff. And, well, you get the idea. Anyway. This has been a really fun project, and if you haven't been following and would like to see some of the others, there is a playlist in the description box below. If you want to just see all the prints that I have created, they are out there on Instagram. My page, my Instagram link or my Linktree link will be in the description box below. I can't remember which way I have it. I might have it in both. I'm not positive. Anyway. So brown. Brown suffers in part because it is not a hue, but a shade. It is not found in a rainbow or on a simple color wheel. Making it requires darkening and graying down yellows, oranges, and some impure reds, or mixing together the three artists' primaries, red, yellow, and blue. That there is no bright or luminous brown led to its being despised by both medieval artists and modernists. For medieval artists who disliked mixing on principle and saw the glory of God reflected in the use of pure precious materials like ultramarine and gold, brown was inherently corrupt. And this was willfulness on the part of artists because iron oxides, known as ochres, are some of the most common compounds on the Earth's surface. They were also one of the first pigments used by humankind. The cattle, deer, lions, and handprints found on the walls of prehistoric caves were lent their warm browns and maroons by earth pigments. The ancient Egyptians, Greeks, Romans also used ochres to add to their utility. They were not only plentiful, but also found in many different varieties. I kind of like brown. I always call it the chocolate brown, the brown rather than the orangish sort of brown, but yeah. And I actually do like how my pieces turn out using all the different browns and of course hints of gold and copper. In an echo of what happened in art, bright color-fast dyes for cloth such as scarlet were difficult and expensive to come by, and therefore remained the preserve of the wealthy and powerful. This left brown for the poor. 14th century sumptuary laws reserved russet, back then a duller brown-gray shade, for those in the meanest occupations like carters and ox herds. Now, if you haven't heard about sumptuary laws, I talk about it in my blue video, but I'll link the Wikipedia down below in case you're interested in there. I was surprised about sumptuary laws. Anyways, over time, though, probably in reaction to the conspicuous displays of wealth, humbler cloth in humbler colors gained favor. This was helped by both an increased interest among the wealthy in sporting pursuits and soldiers' uniforms. Buff, leather coats, for example, were worn by cavalry in the 16th and 17th centuries, and by the mid-1700s, buff breeches were an essential part of a well-dressed European gentleman's wardrobe. And although light tans continued to be a part of military uniform through the 19th century, it was usually only as a facing to bolder colors like emerald green and Prussian blue. These helped comrades find each other in battle and also served to intimidate the enemy. As the 19th century drew to a close, however, the limitations of these uniforms began taking its toll. After a series of humiliating military setbacks in its colonies, the British Army slowly became more responsive to innovation. One example of this shift was the adoption of khaki and later camouflage, which helped fighters disappear into their surroundings by clothing soldiers in brown. Thousands were saved from a premature return to the earth. So the collage elements I'm using are gel prints mostly, and there I can see there's at least one stencil element from PM Artist Studio, so I'll link that below if you're interested. I'll try to name the stencils. Of course, I have a handmade stamp in there too. I can see that, but yeah, just adding some little bit of ink finishing touches. I had the ones that have gold and copper on there, I collaged with a gloss medium, and a few spots I missed. I can see that they're missing. I like to cover the whole thing so it all has the even shine. So there is 81, 82, 83, and 84. So I am taking a poll, trying to think of which one I want to try and replicate somehow, I'm not sure how, into a larger piece. So if you have an opinion, let me know what color, or if you know the number of the picture. And if you check my Instagram, you can see all of them, and you can just let me know there, because I check all my comments. So here I'm using a lot of khaki. Oh, look at this. That's the next color on the list, is khaki. The word is borrowed from Urdu. Khaki means dusty. And it was used to refer to cloth, usually for military clothing, that was dust-colored. And it is thought to have been invented by Sir Henry Lumsden, who raised a corps of guides in Peshawar, which is now Pakistan, in 1846. Wanting to give them a suitable uniform, he bought up yards of white cotton cloth at a bazaar in Lahore, and ordered it be soaked and rubbed with mud from the local river before cutting into loose tunics and trousers. This would, he hoped, make them invisible in a land of dust. It was revolutionary. For the first time in organized military history, an official uniform had been devised that, rather than calling attention to itself, blended into the landscape. Well, and from that, I guess it said comes camouflage, but that's multiple colors. And depending on what jungle, right, what your landscape is, it could be brown or green or who knows, right? Oh, and there's a metallic. That one's an Arteza metallic. I like that one. And I know I do a lot of smearing with my fingers, but that one felt really good to the fingers. It really did. The next color is russet. And I guess that's kind of a reddish brown, which is kind of what some of these are that I'm painting with. And this says, russet is a reminder that the color lives more in the imagination of a generation then bound into a neat color reference. Say the word now, and it might call to mind ruddy colored leaves in autumn, or the hair of a pre-Raphaelite muse. But this was not the case even as recently as 1930. In A. Mars and M. R. Paul's influential Dictionary of Color, it is more orange than reddish brown and has pronounced ashy gray undertones. Part of the reason for this is that, like scarlet, the word russet used to denote a type of cloth rather than a color. While scarlet was luxurious to the touch, beloved by the rich, and so usually dyed bright red, russet cloth was for the poor. In 1363, the 37th year of the reign of Edward III, King of England, Parliament introduced a new statute to regulate the diets and apparel of English subjects. After dealing summarily with lords, knights, and clergymen, the merchants, the gaze of the law passed down to the lowest of the low. Carters, ploughmen, drivers of the plough, ox herds, cowherds, shepherds, and all other keepers of beasts, threshers of corn, and all manner of people of the estate, and all other people that have not 40 shillings of goods, shall not nor wear nor manner of cloth, but blanket and russet of 12 pence. That was a quote out of the law. To the medieval mind, the closer a cloth was to the color of the raw materials, the cheaper and meaner it was. Russet was very coarse woolen cloth, and usually dipped into weak solutions with first blue woad and then red matter left over from dyeing of clothes of those further up the social scale, because the end result depended on the quantities of the dyes used, and the color of the undyed wool russet cloth could be any color ranging from dun to brown or gray. Those little square pieces were from a, the holes on the end of a spiral bound, but they were square holes. So I had saved that, it had been sitting on my desk, so I turned it a brownish color, and I decided to add it. It's been sitting there, I wanted to use it. And this gold circle, I just made that and let it dry on some wax paper. And here, like, something on there is blue. I don't know what it is, but it keeps bleeding until I stop messing with it. And it's a bright blue. This is an acrylic skin that I glued down, that I collaged down, and it's acrylic paint. So I'm not sure where the blue is coming from. I did test the remainder. You don't see it. I edited that out. But I did, get the other wet with medium to see if that blue would leak onto it, and it doesn't. So I'm not sure where that blue is coming from. It was really weird. And it was really bright blue. I mean, I had been working, well, no, I just don't know. Like, I've done other stuff on my table, but I don't know how that got there. Crazy, I know. So again, I'm using, there's a couple of PM Artist Studio stencils in the collage elements there, and then, just gel print papers. And I decided I wanted to just put these little strips all the way up the side of this one. I kind of like that. And I think these feel kind of, in a way, they feel kind of landscapey. And I don't know if it's because they're brown or if it's the way I laid out the collage elements. This one looks like a staircase. And maybe the circles on them are making them look like suns, or the moon or something. And that black piece on the right-hand side bottom, It's been sitting on my desk since, it's been a little while. I wanted to put it on one of my collage pages, so it's just been sitting there waiting for the right time. So hopefully that's the right time. And I just used a little scripting. That one was a kind of a purpley brown, I guess. And here we come to the end of, well, not of the end of brown. So each color gets 10 pages, so that's 8. So I have 2 more brown and then the last color in the series. Can't believe it's getting so close to being the end of the 100-day project. And I got a little bit outside of my washi tape, so I'm just gonna put a little white acrylic paint on there. I do a couple of layers to hide it, but I think that hides it pretty good. So what do you think? Do you like these ones? What are you thinking of the book, The Secret Lives of Color? That's linked in the description box below too. I'm not reading everything out of the book, just highlighting some things I think are interesting. So if you're interested, it's down there. And I want to thank you all for watching. If you liked it, please hit like, leave me a comment, and I hope you have an awesome day.